Casey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we are having Mohamed Abdullahi on. I'm saying that correct, Sonia, correct? Okay, beautiful. As someone whose last name is Duddleston, and I've had my last name butchered my entire life,
Also
I want to
same.
make sure that I'm giving this man his flowers. I seriously cannot wait for you to I just can't wait for everyone to hear this conversation. So me and Sonia chatted with him before this, and, I always like to have the kind of pre-conversations of okay, how's your day going? What's something important for me to know about you that maybe I can't find on Google? Because we can find a lot on Google these days. Is there anything you really want to talk about? Is there anything you really don't want to talk about? And this man was just like a plethora of knowledge and wealth. And then when we got off the call and Sonia's like, oh, he's 19 years old. I was like, how is he 19? He gives such wisdom and I don't want to say old man vibes because that sounds wrong.
Well, he's wise beyond his years.
He's wise beyond his years.
Yeah.
And I just think that you see that because of his faith. And we're going to learn that from, just the way he is with his faith and the fact that he prays 5 times a day. And how does his faith in running correlate? Because again, I'm not a runner. I don't like to run.
No,
I like
me either.
horizontal running, as Fat Amy says in Pitch Perfect. That's what she says. I like horizontal running, which means me being asleep, binge watching something on TV. Not Mo. Mo is upright running, but he's doing it without music, which I think sounds like, okay, that's fine, but what's the motivation? How do you have the motivation? And where do you find that? What's the dialogue in your head? Because my dialogue will be okay, we've done this for 5 minutes. I think it's time to sit down. Or, God, the back of my knee is really hurting me right now. We're ooh.
Mine would be all the things I have to do next. I wouldn't be in the moment. So I feel like he's going to inspire me to be more disciplined in my routine.
Yeah, and I just think that there's so much that we got to learn about him. And I had such a hard time. I told him, I was I have to bite my tongue because I want to ask you all the questions, but I need to save them for tomorrow. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear this conversation. So check it out now. Here's our conversation with Mohamed.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of The Blue Demon Room. I'm Casey Standahar, one of your hosts. Jenna Duddleston is my co-host. And joining us also, is Mohamed Abdullahi from the DePaul track and field and cross country team. Mohamed, we are so excited to have you. Should we call you Mo or Mohamed?
Whatever you guys feel like.
What do you like? I don't like to do that. You got to tell me what
Mohamed,
you prefer.
Mohamed is more, more official name. So I'll
Formal.
say Mohamed.
Sure.
But you guys can call me Mo too. So whatever feels more easier. But I think Mohamed is more better.
Mohamed. We're going to go with Mohamed. Okay. So you and I got to chat a little bit yesterday, and I'm going to do a brief breakdown of your very informative beginning years of your life, because as I was writing these down, I was like, this is a lot, and we totally need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So you were born in Kenya.
Yeah.
You moved to Chicago, then Wisconsin, then Ohio, then back to Kenya at 10, where you had to relearn your original language. And then you had to learn English because you struggled learning English.
Wow.
And then you went to Toronto because you moved to Toronto to be with your cousins to learn English. And then you learned English. And then you came back. And then you kind of forgot your original language. Am I kind of in the pecking order of getting this done? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so how did you find stability during that time in your life?
I think, I don't know, I was always a more an active person. So I kind of got into basketball when I was young. I think I was around 8 years old. And I kind of got into basketball, and I think people knew me from sports, which is ironic because I'm doing sports right now and I'm running for the cross country and track and field team. But I think, just sports in general and just moving back and forth just made me have stability in a way of getting to know more people. And that's why I'm more extroverted, because when I grew up, I was introverted. And I think just growing up introverted, when I grew up, I don't know, I became more extroverted,
Because you had no choice to talk to a bunch of people.
Yeah,
you had to.
I was going to say it really pushed you outside of your comfort zone probably, which helped you be, I guess it just helped you with all the transitions that you've had in your life too, right?
Yep, for sure. And I think, just being uncomfortable most of the time is what made me come here, to DePaul and maybe join running, because when you run, you're just so uncomfortable all the time. You're running you're running miles and miles and miles, and people ask you why do you run? What's the reason why you're running? And I think the main reason why I run is just being uncomfortable and having that true vulnerability with your teammates. So I think
That's
sure.
awesome. And I know your faith is really important to you. How do you feel like that helped shape your athletic career and in your daily life as well?
So yeah, I pray 5 times a day, and I think that's like it's like a must. It's like if you don't pray, it's something called fard. So fard means like it's a must, right? So while we do that, it's like you're always in the remembrance, right? So like us, we're like a forgetful people, right? So say for example, like if you had an appointment at 2 o'clock, right? You wouldn't know it if you put it in the reminder, right? So I think just going back to like God, right, and like remembering Him all the time, right, and you do it 5 times a day, you're never ever gonna be forgetful of Him because we're forgetful people. You know, humans are forgetful
Yeah.
people. So I think like faith is a big thing because you know that like you put the work in, right, and you control the work you put in, but you can't control the outcome, right, and that's up to God. And I think that's why faith is a really important.
And
Yeah.
that probably
aspect
helps
for
you
me.
in your athletic career too. I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's like the act of repetition and practice, right?
Yeah, really, yeah. Because like
Okay.
every time like you're doing things right and you're running, right, and if you don't run the next day, right, then you're not getting fitter, right, you're not recovering. So I think it like literally everything. One thing I say to all my friends is like everything is connected one way or the other. Like everything is connected. If you don't feel like it's connected, right? And especially our bodies too is like everything is connected. So I think that's one thing I run by. So.
Wow.
So when you went to Kenya when you were 10, did you feel like going back home, like did it strengthen your faith? And if so, like how did it?
Like going back to Kenya.
Going back to Kenya when you were 10?
Yeah, it really strengthened my faith, and I think when I was young, my parents like were really religious, and they would always pray, and I would always see them do religious acts. So I think one thing like religion is like a really complicated thing, and I think people are like forced upon a religion, right?
Especially when you're young, you
Yeah,
kind of really
especially-
don't
you
understand.
don't understand
Yeah.
anything, and I think like they force you, but like and they don't act it upon themselves. My parents were so different because they wouldn't push it to me, right? They would just act it upon themselves, and I kind of followed them, right? So when I went back to Kenya, I would see everybody, right, that are my relatives that look like me, right? And I don't know, I kind of felt like a sense of home, right? And I think it strengthened my faith even more, right? And just seeing the people that I grew up with when I was young that I didn't even know, right? Just made me like feel like a sense of home. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of that sense of home, you moved back to Chicago for high school. Where did you
Yeah.
go to high school?
So I went to Mather High School.
Okay.
It's like in the north side.
Yeah.
It's right next to Sen High School and Lane Tech. So yeah, I went there for 3 years. Got there my sophomore year in 2021. I remember I joined the cross country team like literally like 2 weeks after, and I didn't want to join cross country. I didn't even know what cross country meant. That was the funny thing. I thought cross country was like a swimming sport or anything, but I didn't even know what it meant until like my friend told me. His name's Hirsi. He used to be an athlete at DePaul, but he unfortunately quit. And I think people kind of like veer from the path that they were expected to do, right? And he's living his life right now, and I think I don't know, like just joining cross country was like really good for me.
So how was that transition coming back here for high school and joining the cross country team? Like how was that for you?
Yeah, it was really tough. So when I first came, I just felt like I don't know, like I was getting like I felt like I had anxiety attacks. I was getting panic attacks, and I didn't know anybody, right? And I think leading back to faith, there's like a mosque right next to my house, and I would go there all the time, right? And I would go there all the time, and like I don't know, like I had a sense of community there, and the people that I met there, I ended up playing basketball with literally 2 weeks after, and then that's how I met Hirsi, and that's how I started running, right? So everything is literally connected, right? And yeah, like it was really tough, but I think the hardest thing that was like on my mind was just like all my family, like my siblings, my dad would be at work all the time, right? And my mom wasn't here. I think that was the hardest thing for me. Like even though I moved so much, I would always move with my mom, or I would be with my dad.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I wasn't with anybody, so I think that was a really tough moment.
You started running when you came back from Kenya at 15 years old, but you had a deviated septum. What was that about?
Deviated
How did that
septum,
happen?
so it's like a different plot twist. I talked to Jenna about it, and we just talked about like how did it happen. I don't know how it happened, right? But it happened around I think 4 to 5 years old. I think so. I don't remember it, because when you're young, you don't remember everything, right? And I think I broke my nose somewhere, and it may have been like a little thing, but once you, like, you're a kid, right? So like your bones are not really like strong
Yeah.
and like formed. So I think just a little thing just made it deviated, and you don't notice when a person has a deviated septum, especially when they're a child. So I remember just like talking to my mom, like, I can't breathe through my nose, like what's going on? So like I would wake up in the middle of the night, and I would not get enough sleep. I would not eat enough food. So I went through a lot of adversity for about, I think, 10 to 12 years. So from around 5 years old to 17 years old when I got the septoplasty surgery. And how did that affect me when I was running? So every time, like, say I have like a state track meet, right? So we, like, especially cross country track, indoor track, and outdoor track, we're running throughout the whole season, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're like a yearly sport. So I think I see that as a blessing and as a curse sometimes too. right?
It's tough on your body when you don't
Yeah.
give yourself enough time to recover, because recovery is just as important as the act of doing whatever it is that you're doing too.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like you get more chances. So say you had a
True.
bad cross country season, you can have a killer indoor track season, and then you have an outdoor track season that you just go amazing, right? So I think you get more chances, which I like about it. So how did that affect me? So the way it affected me was, like, I would train, I would look amazing in training, and my coach would be like, "You're looking good. You can win state. You can do these things. You can go to nationals. You can do all these things." But as soon as it got into like that peak season, my body was just so worn down, and I would not get the right sleep, because when you have a deviated septum, you're not getting you're not breathing through your nose, right? And the air is not getting filtered, right? So you're not getting as good of an oxygen to your lungs. So what does that do? That makes you more sicker. That makes you give you more allergies and all that. And I did a lot of research about it too. And I knew that, like, I couldn't get my surgery until like 17 years old for some reason. I don't know why.
It's because I haven't had it done, but I've had dental work done, and it's because our face is still growing. And when any good surgeon or anyone who does anything cosmetic will not touch your face until you have stopped growing. And
You're
so it's
fully
around
developed.
17 or 18 years old, because that's pretty much when, like, you are kind of who you are, your body
Wow.
is.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember my doctor told me that, and I'm like, and I was like really stubborn too. Like, I'm a really stubborn guy. So
Like, let's do
like,
it now.
Yeah, literally, yeah, like just do it now. Like, I don't know, like, what's going on. And I don't know. I think everything is a test, and I got tested by God, right, leading back to faith. And I think I don't see it as a bad thing, because as I talked to Jenna about it in the call, I told her, like, I think I was chosen to go through this, right? Because I knew that God knew that I can go through it, right? And I kind of succeeded with this. So
Yeah.
and it shaped me to the person that I am right now. So I think not having the deviated septum would have made my life so much, like, in a different way, and I think I wouldn't want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I want to kind of keep going on the subject of faith right now. And when you run, you don't have music in, which, like, I don't run, but when I did run, like, I felt like music was like a must need. So I think when people don't run, I'm like, how do you do that? But I feel like, because you're running without music and you're with your thoughts, it's kind of like praying or being in prayer. So do you feel like there's any parallels between the two at all?
Yep, I kind of see it too, because it's like, you're running and you're biking, for example. Like, when I was in high school, I was a big cross trainer, right? So I would do elliptical, I would bike. I didn't know how to swim, and I still don't know how to swim that well. I could survive, right? You throw me into Lake Michigan.
I'm not throwing you into
Yeah.
the lake.
No, I'm the same. Like, I still plug my nose when I jump in the pool.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So I think I'm
Don't
not
laugh
an
at me.
efficient swimmer. but,
Yeah, I just
know.
like, well, because I had tubes in my ears to hear better when I was younger, and I never learned how to swim as a kid until later. So
I think, yeah, if you don't learn how to swim when you're a kid, I don't think you'll ever.
I just
Like,
I
you
just
learn
got
very
thrown
well.
in. So my dad was like, figure it out. Good luck, kid. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm
I
still
get
here.
you. I get
Okay,
you.
yeah. And then what were we talking
Anyway,
about?
no, the question
Yeah,
was,
the
like, do you
meditating.
find there to be, like, any parallels, or has, like, one helped you the other with, like, praying and running, since you're kind of alone with your thoughts when you're running?
Okay, so when I run, I run for like a long while, right? So, like, usually my runs are around, like, I say an hour. Shortest will be like around 28 minutes, and I usually don't do that. That's only like before workouts. But I kind of see that as like a meditation. You're just only with your thoughts, right? And it kind of, like, it forces you to be in this vulnerable state with your mind, right? Like, battling with your mind, like, oh, like, what am I gonna do with this workout, or like, what's going on in my life? And I think just like running, the running aspect of it, like, it even leads back to, like, why do you run? I think the main reason why I run, besides the team aspect and, like, running for your team, is just to build me, to make me more of a better person, right? And every time I run, I get the chance to do that. Just running to be a better person, to running to achieve my goals. Because as soon as I run, I feel like I accomplished the day, and that just gives me momentum, right, for like the other tasks that I want to do in the day. For example, like coming here, right? I just ran in the morning. I had a workout. It didn't go that well, but it came back, and I feel like I was accomplished. So that's what kind of gives me the more, like the energy, right? Because when you wake up, you don't have good energy. You're just like tired, and then you gotta wait for the whole day to like happen.
Yeah.
And I think when you run, I don't know, it just kind of like makes you feel more accomplished. And I think that's why I've been seeing a lot of people like running more. Like all my friends back at where I live at in the north side, they would always run. They would always run and be like, oh, like I run because of you, because I think you always like saw it as like a positive thing. And I've seen in social media too, like a lot of people are running too. So
That's cool. Also, we've seen some of your what you eat in a day videos that you do because you have a social media presence. You eat over 3,000 calories a day to fuel yourself. But this past Ramadan, you told us you were fasting but still training, and you worked with a nutritionist to kind of create a meal plan. I can't imagine having to fast and also having to train and run the way you do. I feel like I would just like pass out all the time. So tell us about that.
Okay, so I don't know. Even when I started the series, it was like a 30-day series where I posted, like what I ate, how my day went, how I was feeling, spirituality, and everything of that sort. A lot of people reached out to me, which was really surprising, right? They were like, how do you do this? Like, how do you run 75 miles and still train, still post, still do school, and all these other tasks? And I think the main thing is that, like, it's just God, like I think he made that, like, I'm not gonna say that this was impossible whatsoever, right? But something that was hard, right, to other people, it was really easy for me. I think that 30 days, like, if you do what you're supposed to do, right, and pray 5 times a day and do what he tells you to do, right, he's gonna make everything else easier for you to worship him, right? And I think when I did that, like that series, and just like fasting and running and all that, I didn't see it as hard.
Were you
right?
hungry?
I wasn't hungry that much.
Were you
if I'm being-
just drinking water? Like, what does that entail?
Okay, so I think, I don't know, like the first, I'll say 7 days, or like first 5 days were really the hardest. My body wasn't adjusted to it. I'll wake up at 3 a.m., run in the like outside, and like it felt like really hard, right? But I knew it was gonna be hard because I've done this for like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't really hard, but like I knew that I expected it, like the 5 days is gonna be hard, and then the rest is gonna be easier, right? And then it got to like, I think after the first week, we started practice again, right? And then once we started practice again, in that span of 3 weeks, it was so easier. Like, I don't know, like your body was adapted to it,
So, but in the beginning, you worked with the DePaul nutritionist to like kind of figure this out, because obviously, like, how do you make sure that you stay safe while doing this too? Like, that would be my concern as like like as a coach of like, obviously, we want you to do this because this is a part of your religion, this is part of who you are. But like, how did you still maintain your health, and like what was working with the nutritionist like to make sure that like nothing happened to you?
Yeah. So I met with Haley, I think a week before I started Ramadan, and I told her everything. Like I told her like the previous years, like what I've done to stay hydrated, to stay like get my nutrition good. And I told her everything, and she kind of made a plan. She gave me a little slide deck and everything of that sort. And the main thing too was just like having a good breakfast. So I would eat a lot. If you've seen my videos, I would eat a lot in the breakfast, right? So if I go run, when I come back from running, I go eat like a lot. Like I eat a lot of carbs, a lot of things that are going to sustain me for the rest of the days, right? Because as cross-country runners, we use a lot of carbs, right? And once you're fasting, like it kind of takes from your fat too. But I knew that like drinking a lot and eating a lot in the morning was going to help me in the afternoon when I had workouts, right? And which was surprisingly was that like I felt better fasting than I did without fasting. You know what I mean?
When you were
like,
eating normally, you didn't feel as good?
Yeah, like no, I
Wow.
felt good, but like I don't know, I didn't have like the pressure of like, oh, I gotta eat food now, I gotta do this. Like all I did was just like, okay, I gotta do that, and I think it was more easier for me.
Yeah.
So when I was in the workouts, I felt more lighter, I felt more stronger, which was interesting. I don't know, like other people, like I know I had some friends that were running and training. Like it was really hard for them. So I think I was lucky in that aspect because I've been through a lot of adversities in my life. So I
Yeah.
think that was that was like that's not even adversity to me personally.
Yeah.
And I think having the deviated septum made me more tougher. So I think it depends on the person, right? Some people puke a lot when they're fasting and running. I have had a lot of people like that, but with me, I think I'm like one of the lucky ones.
Wow.
So when you and I talked, you said obviously, the process of learning multiple language at once made you learn in a really unique way. And that you're like, I feel like because of having to learn not only English, but then back to your original language and how you think, it made you think differently. So I have a whiteboard and I love a whiteboard so much.
Big whiteboard girl.
I'm a big
here.
whiteboard girl.
Oh,
Okay. So
sure.
I'm going to give this to you. And I was wondering if you could whiteboard the process of like your thought process of when you fasted.
Okay.
Go like take us through like the steps or like however Mo's brain works. Take us through the steps of what it looks like so we can like visually see it because just hearing you talk, today and even when we had talked prior, like I'm just like curious to know how this works inside here because it's fascinating to me.
Okay, so I can just dump anything.
Dump it, just
like
full,
like a journal.
Yes, like a journal, like a journal, and then if you want to talk unfiltered,
Okay.
If it's like numbers,
kind of
if
a
it's
filtered,
steps,
but
whatever.
unfiltered,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, should I do it right now?
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can kind of talk to us
Okay,
through it too.
talk through. Okay, so first right here, I'm gonna put like a mind map. We talked about mind maps.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about faith, right? And then we have running over here, right? And then all the other aspects too are like miscellaneous. Like I'm not gonna say miscellaneous, but like school. You got that school content for me, relationships, basically like your parents, people in your life, right? So I think the first thing that when I first started fasting, what I did was I made my faith more better, right? So literally 2 months before, right? Like I made my faith really stronger, right? So I think people go into Ramadan with the aspect of that, like they're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like easy right away. No, like if you're training for a marathon, you gotta be ready for it and you gotta train for it, right? Literally 6 months before, or like a year before, right? Before you know you're even racing it, right? So that's the same thing I did with this. I treated it like a marathon, right? So basically what I did was I planned it out, everything. I planned out, I'm like a planner, right? People, like my friends call me like I'm a type A type of dude. Like I plan out everything. I plan out like every like little minuscule of everything, right? I even planned out this. I knew that I was gonna come here at this time or like that, right? So I planned out everything, right? Got my faith stronger, right? People didn't see everything, right? But I was really locked in, like in the winter, right? So when I went into the Ramadan, everything else became more easier, right? So literally school, right? What else? Like everything else became more easier.
Because you were prepared.
Yeah, I was prepared.
You were overly prepared.
Well, and those other areas of your life, kind of like you turn the volume up on that because this one area kind of had to get turned down a little bit.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Then the other aspect too is the relationships, right? So we have something called tahajjud, right, and tarawih, right? So we would pray and stand in the mosque for like hours, right, and pray, right, and like be there in the remembrance of Allah, right? So the last 10 days you get a lot of rewards, right? So basically, what are rewards? So basically, like say you do a good deed, you get a good deed, right? If you do a bad deed, you get a bad deed, right? And Ramadan is one of those months. It's like a sacred month, right? So you have to treat it like it's a sacred month. You have to treat it like it's a holy month, right? So I treat it like a holy month. So that last 10 days, right, I was trying to get as much good deeds as possible, right? Whether it was doing a good thing, right? Not cussing, right? Not doing all these things that are little like, how do I say it, sins that are like looked over upon, right? But they blacken your heart, right? So that's what I did. So I my relationships, I made all my friends people that are like good, right? I didn't hang out with people that were gonna distract me from the
Or
goal
be
I
like
had.
negative and suck away from you too.
Yeah, negative. You know what I mean? Like distract me from running, right? Because I had my first quarter, like it was the hardest quarter of my life. I knew that my freshman year was gonna be really hard, and I had a 2.5 GPA. Like I wasn't running really well, right? I had like all these pressures, right? Because like I've been blessed to have a full ride, right? And I think that people take that and run away with it and don't do the right thing, right? But I was having all these pressures, right? So when I came, right, like my second quarter, I had the mindset of like no, I need to lock in, right, and do the right thing, right? So I changed my friends, right? I didn't change my friends, but like the people that like
You
kinda took
honed
me-
in on the important
hone in
relationships.
the important relationships, right? And the other people kind of fade away,
Right.
right? So I got the relationships, right? Then I built the relationship with my family, right? My family, right? The mosque, right? So I would go to the mosque every single day. I put that as my goal. I said I'm gonna go to the mosque. If it's like literally like 10 minutes, just go there, right?
What
Get into
happens
the-
if like something comes up and it throws off your plan? Like, how do you deal with like unexpected changes in this?
Okay, so like say I have track meet, right? I would always try to like I know that I can't make it to the mosque, right? But I would talk to people that went to the mosque, right? I would kind of get into that mindset. So I was never in that like never not remembering of the remembrance of Allah, right? And my family or anything of that sort. And then once I did that, the content just kind of take care of it for yourself, right? I think people kind of like stress about like, what am I gonna post this day? What am I gonna post that day, right? Like you already know because you post content too,
Yeah.
right? And it went easy because like I already had momentum. So like it was just like when I posted every single day, it was the same thing, right? Of like day in the life with D1 Runner, day 21, right? It was so like generic.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was so repeatable that anybody else could do, but nobody else did it. Right. So it was like a consistent factor. So like every time I would post, people would be like, oh, like next day, like
They follow along. They wanna
wanna
know.
see.
Literally,
Yeah.
because every day was a different day, and I had different things to do. So
Cool.
I would have a workout, I would have this, and they'll be interested, they'll be intrigued. They'll be like, well, how is he fasting and like running, like you know what I mean? So that kind of took care of itself. So yeah.
Could you show the visual representation so we
Show
could
the
kind of see
camera.
what it looks like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got a mind map right here.
Okay.
Put faith, put running. It looks kind of messy, but I think
That's
me
okay.
me talking to the microphone kind of like eased the process. But I kind of connected everything. I kind of connected family, my friends, having good friends, and also just like putting it down into like big like branches of my life, right? So like running, like this is not a big branch, but like planning out, right? And everything of that sort. So I think just planning out was like a really crucial like aspect of everything. So
Wow.
Yeah.
It might look messy, but for viewers that are watching instead of listening, it is not messy at all. It's actually quite precise in your mind, right?
In my mind, yeah. It may look messy to other people. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so final kind of question. When we talked yesterday, you said something that was so poetic that I literally called sewing afterwards, and I was like, I gotta talk to you about this because like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And you said you get what you're destined for. Okay, he's 19, and that is not a phrase that I think you often hear from someone as young as you. And I don't like even putting the like they're so young so they can't know like wisdom. You're clearly filled with that. Can you tell us what that phrase "you get what you're destined for" means to you?
Okay, so I think people think that we all have free will, right? We all have free will, and the choices that we make every day, right, impact us today. It may not impact us today, but it may impact us in like 3 months from now, right? So everything has a consequence, basically, right? But if you're stressing about a goal, right? So I'm very goal oriented, right? I'm like an obsessive person. So say for example, I want to break 24 in the AK this year, right? I put it down on my wall, right? So every time I wake up, I see it, right? So I'm like an obsessive person, right? But like if I put the work in and I know that like I'm gonna achieve that one way or the other, right? Like I don't care about the outcome as much because if I was destined to get that breaking 24, right? I was destined to get it. If I wasn't, then I wasn't, right? Because you can't control all you can control is what you put in, right? Like there's so much things that you can control, right? And there's so much things you can't control. So if you're destined for something, right? It was a good thing for you, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not destined for it, look at it in a way of like, oh, this wasn't good for me, right? I may not know it now, but I'm definitely gonna see in the future, right? So I'm gonna give you a story, okay? I'm gonna give you a little story. So it was my senior year, right? And I got sick. Literally towards the end of my cross country season, right? So I had sectionals, I had state, right? And I put down my goal. I was like, I want to be a state champion, right? I want to be a state champion. I want all these college coaches hitting me up, you know what I mean? And I think I put the work in. I was really fit, right? So to win state, it would be around like 14-10, right? And I was literally in that shape. Like my workouts were looking that well, everything of that sort. But leading back to the deviated septum, I got sick towards the end of like the last 2 weeks, right? So I remember going into the sectionals meet. I was a little, you know what I mean, a little fatigued, right? But it wasn't so bad, right? And in that last week, it was so bad to the point where it was just like, I was practicing and I just hated running. Like it was so bad because like my body just felt fatigued. I just like felt so tired, and I was just like damn, like am I gonna run this, right? Am I gonna get all state? Am I gonna get a medal, right? Or even win state? Like, and I think going to me, I was just like, I still had that like shaken faith of like, I'm gonna win state. Like, and it doesn't matter how I feel. Like, I'm just gonna give myself a chance. Just give myself a chance, right? Just put myself there, like in that first mile. Put myself in that second mile, right? Because you never know how you're gonna finish, right? Just always give yourself a chance. So I gave myself a chance when I got to the race, and I ended up running a 14:59, 14:55, right? And I got 35th place. So the first 25 people get a medal, right? So my goal was to get the first, not even there, to win state, to get the first place. But I didn't even get a medal out of all that work, right?
Wow.
So I was so heartbroken. I was like, damn, like now, like no college coach is looking at me. Like there's college coaches looking at me and giving full rides and all that. But like those those like big programs like Wisconsin, like all those like big programs like around the country, right? They didn't hit me up, and I didn't have the time to show for it, right? So I was like heartbroken. I'm like, damn, like you know, like, and that was the first time I not the first time, but like that was like a moment where I cried, right?
You were really upset.
I was really upset, right? I cried.
You put a lot of pressure on the moment.
Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on the moment. I cried, and I think one thing I'm not like scared of is like showing my emotions, right? I show my emotions to my teammates. That's what makes us vulnerable and makes us run faster, right? Because when you show emotion, they have something to run for, right? So that's besides the fact. But I think just when I finished, like I put all this work in, and I didn't get what I was intended to do, right? Then I found out literally if I would have went to all those other schools, right, and if I got injured or anything of that sort, right, I wouldn't be running right now. I wouldn't even be in the situation that I'm in right now, or I wouldn't even be creating content, right? So I wasn't destined for that, right? And now that you heard my story, like it kind of like it connects it more better, and hopefully that answered your question more better, right? Because if I got what I was hoping for, right, I would be in a different situation, and it would have been so much different, like, you know?
Jenna and I, as friends, always kind of have this conversation similar to what you're saying. Like, yes, the power of manifestation is there, and you can have that, but you also have the notion of what's for you won't pass you, and if it does pass you, it wasn't meant for you. And she and I always talk about that, where it's like, it wasn't the right situation, the right job, the right whatever, the relationship, whatever it might be that you're hoping for. Better is coming, or something different that makes more sense eventually will come.
Literally, yeah.
So then in one sentence, what do you think you're destined for?
I think I'm destined to be great, right? And inspire as much people as I can through my content, through the way I talk, the way I carry myself, right? And what people don't look at what you say, people look at how you act, right? Because the way you act shows you how you are as a person, and people are gonna follow, right? And I think that's literally that's what defines me as a one sentence.
I love it. You're inspirational. It's been so great to talk to you. Jenna told me this conversation was going to be awesome. It did not disappoint. We want to give you a chance too to tell us where people can follow you and look at all your content. So give your
yourself
handles.
out.
Yeah.
Shout myself out. My Instagram is Mohammed Runs, and then I have like an underscore at the bottom. And I do TikTok too. I kind of cross promote all my content, and I'm doing YouTube. I posted a documentary about lying about my logs. Something that's like a big topic, and I think I was about to get my full ride taken, of course, but I think I was given another chance, and I'm gonna take that chance and run away with it. And yeah, that's about it, literally. And you can always see me running cross country meets and track meets, and try to be a good inspiration to other people. So
I love it. Jenna, final thoughts?
I just feel like I need to pray right now.
Mohammed, you have been fantastic to talk to. We wish you the best of luck with the rest of your career. And that was Mohammed, Jenna, Casey, and this was the Blue Demon Room podcast. We will see you on the next episode.